so let's talk a little bit about volume and surface area. Let's start with volume. Volume is the measure of the capacity of a three-dimensional figure. So in other words, volume is the amount of stuff you can put inside of a three-dimensional figure. Okay, so if you're looking at, like a gallon of milk, it's how much milk is in there. Volume is always measured in cubic units. So cubic feet, cubic meters, cubic miles. Some of the formulas we have for volume are the volume of a rectangular solid, length times width times height. The volume of a cubed, just cubed the length of the side. The volume of a cylinder, pi r squared times h. The volume of a cone, which is 1/3 pi r squared h. The volume of a sphere, which is 4/3 pi r cubed. And we also look at the volume of a prism, which is area of the base times the height. So depending on what your base is, you first calculate the area of the base and then you times it times the height of your prism. And the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 area of the base times height. Again, you calculate the area of the base, multiply it times the height of your pyramid, and take 1/3. Surface area is the sum of the areas of the surfaces of a three-dimensional figure. So it's the total area that's on the outside of the figure. Since it's an area, it's a sum of areas, its units will be square units. So square feet, square miles. And here are our typical surface area formulas. The first one is for the surface area of a rectangular solid, the surface area of a cube, surface area of a cylinder, a cone. Notice this formula is a little lengthy, but with the use of our graphing calculator, this one's going to be really easy to calculate. And finally, the surface area of a sphere. Alright, so when baking a cake, you can choose between a round pan with a 9-inch diameter and a 7-inch by 9-inch rectangular pan. My first question asked me to determine the area of the base of each pan. Well, if you think of a round cake pan, the base of a round cake pan is a circle. Okay, so the round cake pan is a circle. And we know that the area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay, all right, so pi times my radius squared. Well, notice that for the round pan, they gave me the diameter, which is 9 inches. So my radius will be half of my diameter, which is 4.5. Okay, and now I'm going to use my calculator to figure this out. Okay, I'm going to use my graphing calculator so I get a fairly accurate answer. Okay, and all graphing calculators have a pi key, so I'm just going to type in pi times 4.5, and I'm going to hit the square key and just hit enter. And you can see that our volume, the area of the base is 63.62. We were in inches, so square inches. Okay, now I need the base of my rectangular pan. Well, it's a rectangular pan, so the area of a rectangle is length times width, which they told us was 7 by 9, which is 63 square inches. Okay. The next question says if both pans are 2 inches deep, determine the volume of each pan. Okay, well, think about a round cake pan. Well, it's a short cylinder, right? And we know that for a cylinder, the volume is pi r squared times h, pi times our radius, which we found is 4.5 squared, and they told us that the height is 2 inches. Again, I'm just going to plug this in my calculator. So pi times 4.5 squared times my height, and I find my answer, which is 127.24 volume, so we're looking at cubic inches. Now for the rectangular pan, the volume is going to be length times width times height. So 7 times 9 times 2. Oh, this one's easy. 126. And again, volume, cubic inches. And the last question says, which pan has the larger volume? Well, now that I figured it out, it's easy to see that the round pan is going to hold more cake. So the round pan is certainly better. A bag used to apply icing to a cake is in the shape of a cone with a diameter of 3 inches and a height of 6 inches. How much icing will this bag hold when full? Okay, so the question is talking about a cone and how much stuff goes in the cone. And remember, we said that volume measures what you put inside. So I need the formula for the volume of a cone. Okay, which I know is 1/3 pi r squared h. So 1/3 pi. I need my radius. Well, they told me it's a diameter of 3 inches, which means my radius is 1.5 inches. And my height is 6 inches. All right, so I'm going to use my trusty calculator here to figure this all out, so I get the correct answer. So I want to put a fraction of 1/3 in, so I'm going to open a parentheses, 1 divided by 3, close my parentheses, times pi, there's my pi symbol, times 1.5 squared, so I hit my squared key, times 6. Notice I typed it in all at once, not in pieces and parts, and I certainly did not use 3.1 for pi. I used the actual pi key to get an accurate answer. And I've got 14.14. So 14.14 volume, so we're looking at cubic inches. Okay. The next question says, what's the surface area of this bag? So in other words, how much material was used to make this icing bag? Well, I need the formula for the surface area. And it's this long formula, pi r squared plus pi r times the square root, r squared plus h squared. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug my values in. Well, I know that r is 1.5. So wherever I see an r, I'm going to put a 1.5. And once again, and h we knew was 6. Okay? And I'm going to type this in exactly like that into my calculator. Okay? I'm going to type it in all into at one time, not in pieces and parts. I mean, that's why I have a graphing calculator, because it can do these kind of calculations for me. Okay, so I'm going to type it all in at once. So pi times 1.5 squared plus pi times 1.5 times, now I need my square root symbol. Okay, so I want to take the square root of 1.5 squared plus 6 squared. And notice when I opened the square root, it opened a parentheses. So now I'm going to close my parentheses and I'm going to hit enter. And I see that I get 36.21. So 36.21. Surface area. So I'm looking at square inches.